Are we live? Hello. Is everything on? Am I too loud? I look a little loud, I feel like. All right, turn it down. Hello, test, 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 test. Maybe that's good now. Or is it good? My audio was a little bit weird yesterday, so I turned it up. But I turned it down. Alright, tell me if you can hear me. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was watching TVC stream, and then... I still look a little bit loud. And then I forgot, since we had the Miraculous Monday stream, I had to change some settings a little bit. So I forgot to do that. So, fixed it. We're all good now. What's the stream delay looking like? Doesn't... I hope it's not too long. Because, like, I don't like long stream delay. I don't think anybody does, though, so... Hello, everybody. Welcome to this stream. About 7 seconds, really? That's it? That's pretty good. That's good. Oh. It's 2:32 in Korea? It's 1:30 p.m. here. Sorry. It's so hard to arrange a time where everybody can get on. Like, this time is about the earliest I like to be. Like, any earlier and I'm just like, I don't, it's like I'm too groggy. But, yeah, because, like, there's people who watch my videos from all across the world. I think that's amazing. It's just hard to do streams because, like, some people are like, oh, we want it for the more American times, and then other people are like, no, we need it for the more European times. It's like, oh, well, there's a problem there. So I'm sorry for those of you guys who it's super late, and I appreciate that you guys are still checking out the stream, but I also don't want you guys to feel like you have to watch the stream. Like, if you're tired, go to bed, because your health is more important than watching a stream, especially since there's a recap, and you can always come back to the stream later, because the stream is still uploaded onto the channel. So you can always go back after the fact. But I appreciate it when you guys stay here, because it makes me feel good. Alright. So, today we're doing the King, which should be interesting. I already know what we're doing next week. We're doing a recap next week. And basically, what that's going to look like is we're going to take everything that's confirmed and that we've talked about, not the stuff that's not confirmed, but we're going to try to take everything that we talked about and everything that's currently confirmed and that we have good to go, and we're just going to be like talking about it again. We're just going to be re-explaining it. Nothing really new. It's just all recap stuff, because I feel like with all of this new info and conflicting info from stuff that's changed and all this stuff, there's just a lot to keep track of. So, came to see my artwork for the King. Did you submit something for the King? I haven't gotten anything recently for the King. But I don't know, did anybody submit anything for the King previously? Ah, yes. Random Girly submitted a fan art for the King. Forgot about that. Because we created a channel in the Discord. So I'll actually put that into the doc here, because it was only one, I think. And if not, then I did not get it. I did not get any other ones. I've had this one for a while, though, so. Okay. So, oh, I also wanted to get your opinion as far as next stream, because you know how I do a recap episode? There will be a recap episode of this. And that's pretty simple, because we're doing a King, we're doing a character. Although, since we've been doing a document and we've been answering questions, it's been harder to make recap episodes, because there's a lot less discussion and more of us actually answering questions. And it's like, there's a lot to do, so. Anyway, I was thinking for the recap stream, since it's such a big thing and we're recapping, let's see, is this the stream? This is stream 16, so we're recapping 16 streams of work in one stream. I was thinking, like, there's, like, you could make a recap episode, but that's just a pain. So I was thinking instead, I would still make, like, a recap video, but instead of actually putting stuff in that video, I would just say, hey, go watch the stream. And I'll actually time code the stream. You know how I usually time code the episodes? Well, instead I would timecode the stream, so that way you could actually, jump around the stream, because there's just so much to talk about. So I think that's sort of what I'm leaning towards. So that way it's easier to navigate through the stream, because it's just, there's so much to recap. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think of that, because I think if we do it that way, that's just going to be the best, because trying to create a recap for 16 streams, it's tough. So, yeah. All right. We're ready to get started on this document. I don't think Raw Linux is here today, which is sad. They were busy today, so they'll have to watch the stream over or watch the recap episode next Tuesday. So, yeah, sad day. All right, we are going to. It's this one. It is this one. Oh, let me. I always forget to do this because for me it looks fine, but I always forget that for you guys it looks really zoomed out. So, okay. Let's go ahead and go down a little bit. Okay. So we just got a big document. Here is for fan art from Random Girly. I did not get any other fan art, so if you sent me other fan art, I did not see it. Unless if it was like a really long time ago and I put it into a different folder. So, we don't really know what the king looks like. We were sort of talking about that in the Discord. And I randomly said, I think it'd be funny if he was like a teenager. And, I mean, he obviously would be a teenager. He's like thousands of years old. But he would just look like a teenager. I think that'd be so fun. Because then like the characters could be like, oh, but you're just a kid. But I'm thinking about it with... It just doesn't make sense to have him be a kid. So... I don't think we're going to do that. I'm thinking 20s to 30s, at most 40s to 50s. So, what if the king was a dwarf? So when Luna and Nico meet him, they aren't that intimidated, but then they see his real power. Possibly. We'll have to talk about that, because we honestly don't know what species he is. So, that's what we will be talking about today. Okay. I do like this, though. He's very handsome. I do think... I don't know what hair color he should have, but he should radiate confident energy. Because, like, a confident king is a good king, I think. So, yeah. What if we never see his face? That could be interesting, too. But is that the kind of persona that he wants to give off? Because that's mysterious, and people don't want a mysterious... Like, they want to know who's ruling them, because if they don't know them, then they're like, well, how do we know if he's good or bad? So we've got to make sure that we're good there. All right, so what is the king's name? If I remember correctly, when we were creating names or something, and something like Vincent got thrown around, right? Or George or something, but those names, I feel like we need to come up with a better name. Also, before I forget, there was a cool Discord conversation that happened about the king earlier, which could change what his name is, or unless we change it. Okay, so here it is. This one's from Code Mari, I believe, is what their username is. Okay, so they said, Aiden, I have an idea that's related to the king. I don't think I'm going to read all of this, but basically, to summarize it, the king was originally human. And he came to Ilaria, and he fell in love there, this and that, and then he wanted to rule over Ilaria, whatever. So basically, he was human. So, I think that's an interesting idea. It just depends, because that could completely change the way the story works, right? Because if he was human, then he would probably want to do something with Earth. If he was Ilarian, then he would probably want to stay disconnected from Earth. See what I'm saying here? So it all sort of comes down to what his master plan is, which we still haven't decided, even though that's sort of like a big part of the plot. So if his master plan is to take over Earth, then it could actually work for him being human. But that sort of complicates things, because then it sort of ties in all of Earth, and it's like, do we want to go there? Because then it could get like super big, It's like sort of between worlds and it's kind of conflicting. Or we could have it stick more towards Ilaria and have his plan be like, I don't know. Honestly, we don't know what his plan is. Sort of the only thing we talked about, I think, was that he just sort of he was just done with being king or something, and he just wanted to die. And that was like the only thing we really talked about before, and we never really brought it up again. So we don't know what the king's goal is. So I think this was an interesting idea. However, I did like this other oh yeah, was it here? It was here. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, so like the way that he dies is maybe that the souls get released that he has in prison, and then they all just sort of like surround him in this swirling ball, and then when they disappear, he's gone, and like you see a pile of ash or something. I don't know. I think that was a cool idea, and I really like that. And maybe it's sort of like the lost souls aren't something that the chosen ones, because the way that we have it right now, they are souls that the chosen ones have command over, right? But we could twist that and say, well, they're in this realm, and then the chosen ones can ask and say, hey, can we have your help? And that's sort of what it is. It's a consent-based action. However, we could turn it to say the king has imprisoned them because somehow, I don't know. He imprisoned them, and now he has absolute authority against them. So then they're mad. So I think that works. Okay. I've been reading the chat. What if he was originally human, but after being separated from Earth for so long, he forgot his original identity and subconsciously turned into hatred for humanity? Well, that's sort of complicated, because then it's like, well, why make him human if you're not going to bring it up again? So if he forgot his identity, part of the story should be him being like, man, what are these fuzzy memories of me being on Earth when I was younger? Like, that seriously has to be a part of the story if we're going to make him forget it. Because if him being human, if he is human, but it's never brought up and it doesn't matter, then why have him be human? Might as well just make him Ilarian. So I think for the sake of the story, as far as what we have right now, making him Ilarian makes more sense. However, depending on how or what his master plan is and how we take the story, that could change. And it could be an interesting twist. So I don't know. We'll have to talk about that some more. Okay. His plan can be to take control of the entire planet and make the perfect kingdom. But only he can see his vision, and he doesn't trust anyone to do it. So instead he decides he wants to live forever to ... make his perfect kingdom. Well, here's the thing though, right? He basically has his perfect kingdom, you know? As far as the way Ilaria is formed right now, he has control over the 9 islands. The only thing that he doesn't have control over, and I mean, honestly, he could, if he wanted to, he could just go over and demolish the monster islands. He's just like, I don't care. And there's probably some good reasoning to having some rivals, because something that I don't know of because I'm not educated in that subject, but it's just like, he's already king. What is his goal? I feel like his goal, like, not all evil characters have to have a goal of taking over the world, because he's basically already done that. And I think because the common villain trope is always, oh, I want to take over the world, or the tri-state area, or whatever, this, that. But it's interesting if the villain's already won, you know, like, he's created the world that he's wanted. It's like, dang, he's already won. Although he doesn't seem too much like a villain, but he is. But anyway, what if instead of just like this, oh, I want to conquer Earth, or I want to conquer everything, what if it's just like, I'm done. I want to die. like I think it'd be so funny. He's just done. He's had enough. It's like, okay, I'm done with this. But he's like, but I've created a world and it depends solely on me, and I don't want anybody else to, like, the next ruler has to be perfect. So that's why he's doing the page turner trials, to try to pick the perfect person, and that's sort of what we talked about before. And I don't know. I just think that's interesting. Okay. Oh, Ralunix, you made it. Welcome. Okay. Let me scroll up. All right, there we go. If he was a human, then that could be a good reason why he wants to keep humans away. He has no faith in his own kind. Then he can shout, "I know what I want to protect you from." Okay, yeah, so there are really a lot of, like, it all just depends on how we want to take the story, because it's just the way he acts is going to be completely different if he's human or if he's Ilarian. So it really just depends on what we want the end goal to be is. I feel like that worded wrong, but I don't know. Name the king, Roland. Yeah. Pick a name. We need a name. Let the king be a merciless protector who protects others from his own kind. I know best. So he was afraid that... But, okay, here's the thing though, right? The whole backstory is that the two chosen ones, one from Earth, one from Ilaria, were brought together to sort of walk the two planets on an equal line for them to help each other, to guide each other, to just, you know, not be one, but sort of be there for each other, right? But the king sort of decided to just be like, nah, we don't want Earth. Get out of here, Earth. And so he disconnected ties, sort of erased Earth's history from Ilaria. So if it was... What was he trying to protect Earth from? Because it's not like... If he was from Earth and he killed the other chosen one, doesn't that make him the bad guy? Like, he wouldn't be protecting Earth from anything. He would just be like... I don't know, because it's not like Ilaria was coming after Earth, so I don't know what he would be protecting it from. But, there's so many things. He wants to find a successor, but he wants them to be exactly like him. That's impossible. Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what we had talked about before. Maybe he can't die because he needs a successor, but he can't find one. Yeah, that's exactly. Conquer the universe. That's a stereotype emperor guy. Maybe he was a villain, but then he lost his goal, and now he really wants to help the citizens by choosing a really good heir. No, because there are plenty of good heirs, and he just can't choose one. So that's sort of like... But being human would be a part of the story. Being human makes him seem more like a god, since Ilarians don't know about humans. That's true. He would be a different species, and that would solve sort of like what the species is. Because the closest thing, I think, to humans that Ilarians have are elves or dwarves. Dwarves are just like smaller, more buff humans. And elves are about the same, maybe taller than humans, but have pointy ears. Maybe some more interesting hair, whiter hair. So it would solve that problem. If he was a species on Ilaria, then the species would make the king closer to all of Ilaria in sense of, okay. Yeah, that would definitely help. But if, well, it sort of depends on if we want, I don't know. He saw the ruins of Earth happen wars, and such he saw Ilaria more peaceful. So we wanted to, so other than so we didn't think that Earth, so we just wanted to stick to Ilaria because he was like, well, this has more potential, basically. If he was originally human, he would have a normal name, right? Yes, if he was originally human, then he would have a human name. And a lot of Ilarians have human names, like Joe and Blake. But, I mean, the king can either have a human name, or the king can just... His true name can be a human name, but then he could change it to sound more Ilarian. I'm not sure. How about he was ready to pass the throne, but when he discovers Earth, he seems... So is he a human or an Ilarian? He sees them as a threat to Ilaria and his perfect kingdom, so then he decides to live forever to protect Ilaria, but then he goes bad in the process. I assume that in that he's Ilarian. But the thing is, the whole idea is that the king is the more corrupt one, and it's because he chose the other or he killed the other chosen one. So it's like he is more selfish and he wants to protect Ilaria. I don't even know if protect is the right word. He just wanted to disconnect from Earth for some reason that's unknown at this point. The king is a hybrid of all the species. What if he was an Ilarian? If he was an Ilarian, he would still know about Earth, right? Well, knowing about Earth and knowing about Ilaria on Earth are both very common things back at that time because they were both intertwined. You could travel between both worlds freely. That was just what the Chosen One's goal was, and that's what the end goal for this show is to reconnect Earth and Ilaria together. But the king, for some reason, was like, I don't like this. I need to separate Earth and Ilaria again. I don't know if it was because he was power hungry at the time, because the Earth people could do magic, and he was like, well, only Ilarians should be able to do magic. We don't want Earthlings here. Get out of here. That's something we'll have to talk about. Does the king consider himself evil, or he believes he is the good guy? This is a tough question because it sort of depends on... It's just we don't have any ideas in mind. We don't know what the king's goal is. We don't know... Like, I don't know where to attack this first, but if we can confirm that he's just, like, done with being the king, he's like, okay, I've had my fun. I need to pass it down to somebody who's just like me, who's younger, who can help them out more or continue to build this empire up. I just need to find the perfect person. If we can confirm that, and that's what we want to do, then we can sort of decide that. Because if that's the case, then I think he's going to see himself more as like, I'm saving these people because I'm creating a world for them to live in. And it's been prosperous. Like, I've united the 9 islands. Like, maybe before there were disputes between the islands. He's brought them all under the same leadership. And, yeah, it's just, you know, the ideal situation. Good government from the people's eyes, of course. The people... It's not even like he's a bad king and there's anything inherently wrong. It's just... The idea is to bring Earth and Ilaria back together because Ilaria is slowly declining because they're focusing on more magic, and maybe Ilaria's core needs to, like, the magic has been too straining or too stressful on Ilaria, so they need Earth to sort of bring in technology so they can rely less on magic, and vice versa. So if that's the case, then it's not like he's a bad ruler, it's just his views are so outdated and he's not looking at the current issues, and it's like, well, there's this impending danger, and if he stays as the king, it's like, we don't know what could happen. The entire magic system in his entire world could collapse, because if magic, it's like a power outage, right? If the power goes out, you're kind of stuck, you know? So, something like that. I don't know. Okay, I haven't been reading the chat at all. That was a long discussion. Maybe his father was human and his mother was Ilarian. His father left him and his mother was somehow... That could actually be interesting. Like, maybe he became the chosen one because his father was the chosen one, or his mother was the chosen one. That could actually be interesting. And so he's like a mix between human and some other race that we don't know. We also need to figure out what his true goal is. Well, right. And that's sort of what what we were talking about. Like, is his true goal just to choose another successor, and that's why he's doing the page turner thing? Because, I mean, it's a pretty boring goal, but I mean, does the goal have to be, like, I'm going to end the world? It's just, I will admit, having stories with impending doom is more interesting. However, if we were thinking of it from a, well, it's still going to be cool because they're still going up against the king and there's still going to be fights. It's like, not much has changed. It's just, you don't get that sense of like, I'm going to destroy the world. It's more of like, I just want to remain as king. It's like, okay, well, it's not as interesting. It's not as like, dun dun dun, but it still allows for an interesting story. And the thing is though, right? What other stories have been like that, you know? Because, like, all the stories you know is like, I'm gonna take over the world and stuff like that. But it's like, this one's different. It's like, oh, okay. He just wants to choose a new king. But he's killing a bunch of people in the process, which isn't good, you know? But, yeah. So, I don't know. I think it'd be funny, because it's like, it's unique, I think. At least I haven't seen any stories that are sort of similar to that. Okay. I feel like I'm so far behind. Yeah, I'm pretty far behind. I'm pretty far behind. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to skip some comments. Okay, if I skipped over your comments that I missed, then go ahead and repost them again that you want me to see. Oh, remember when people thought that I should be the king's voice actor? I don't know. Would that be interesting? Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody posted a link to this, like, animation software. And they were like, hey, we could animate it in 3D if we wanted it to be. But, like, I just can't get, like, to me in my mind, this show is a 2D show. So it's drawn. So animating it in 3D, while it would be a lot easier and it was something that someone like me could do, it would be so hard to get used to seeing 3D models for the characters. Like, it's different. So, yeah. It is a possibility though, right? So if we ended up writing all the scripts and had the episodes all planned out and we're like, okay, so this is exactly what happens in this episode, like, and we wanted to actually animate it, I would be totally down to getting voice actors and, well, we could even still voice act without animating. It would just be like like an audiobook kind of thing. So, like, we could do that. I'm willing to go as far as that. And then animating it would just be taking it to a whole nother level. So, it would be in the similar style to Miraculous. So, admin powers? Admin powers for what? Oh, for making me the king? Well, it would just be the voice. I don't know how well my voice is suited for voice acting, but yeah, I don't know. I can just, like, imagine voice acting the king. Look, I don't care if I live or die. I just need to choose a rightful successor. See, this is why I don't get it. I'm so bad at speaking, but I do YouTube, so, like, I don't know. Wholesome voice for a murderer. Good, yeah. Can you recap what you have discussed? We're basically talking about the king, and right now we're sort of talking about what his goal is. Is he, like, human or Ilarian? Whatever this is. So, yeah. I know some YouTubers that might like voicing this for you. Yeah. Well, here is the thing, right? You guys are so excited to get this on the road. And it's like, oh man, I can't wait to write the episodes and I can't wait to voice act the episodes. We are so far away from that, okay? We have a lot of time. We are just now developing the main villain. It has been 16 weeks. We still have a lot of time. Like, it won't be until, like, next year where we're actually like, okay, well, maybe we can start writing, like, an episode transcript. Nah, we still got a lot of time. Also, I would be fine with like turning this into like a book, or like I said, if somebody approached me and was like, "Hey, we want to make this into a comic, or we wanted to make this into an actual show," we've already established that I would say yes to that, even if it meant like we would have to stop the streams because it would be an actual thing and we can't be giving out spoilers and whatever. But for the time being, like I'm open to options, because once we get everything established, we can always write episodes, and it would just sort of be like a fan fiction for a show, just an original story. So, yeah. Make his successor a teenager. Well, the thing is, the king looks for younger people, and because there's potential in them, and if he grooms them the right way, they could potentially be good candidates for the king. So, yeah. Can't wait until there's a video saying 107 facts about page turner. That would be pretty cool. And they could actually, I think, the way that it would work, if there was ever a company or we ever decided to like go private about this, like I was like, okay, we're gonna make this into a book and can't have this out in the public because spoilers and whatever. What I would do is I would probably unlist everything. I would delete the Discord, so if anybody had the links to the YouTube videos, they could probably go back and view it, but I wouldn't delete them entirely. So if somebody had the links or had something, then they could probably see it. So, yeah. I don't know. But I doubt that's ever gonna happen. Just saying theoretically if it did. Fact 37. Page turner started as streams on YouTube. Yeah. That'd be so cool. I can't wait till like we're a year down the line and then we're like, you know what? Let's go back to the first stream and sort of rewatch it to see sort of where the brainstorming started, because that's like the idea has developed so much from the first stream. Was anybody there on the first stream when we talked about some sort of like clock thing where you had to find the pieces to the clock and then you could go back to the original time? Does anybody remember that? Yeah. If Aiden deletes the Discord. Okay, well, maybe not delete the Discord, but at least delete all the channels that were related, or at least not like just make the Discord channels not viewable to most people. Oh wow, there's a lot of you guys who remember that. I remember that. So, okay. We ready to get back on track with the king? I think we should probably do that. Okay, so let's go back. Should we decide what his name is? What's the king's name? Do we want to come up with a name for the king at the moment? I'll go ahead and add bullet points all across here. So I'll wait until we see a... Oh, well, I guess we should decide, is he human? I guess, I mean, like, if we made him have a more Ilarian name, we could always just say, like, oh, but that's his fake name that he came up with to make him sound more Ilarian. Or if he was human, then I don't know what we would do. Anyway. So, should we first decide what species he is, so that way we can pick a name? Whoops. Does that work better? Half-breed. Yeah, would it be interesting if he was the chosen one simply because he had a family member who was previously a chosen one and it was sort of passed down versus... Because, I mean, the current chosen ones, their goal is to choose another chosen one. And typically it's frowned... I would assume that it's looked down upon to choose somebody in their own family just because they're in their own family, unless if there's a good reason. So maybe, like, one of the chosen ones was like, okay, well, I see whoever we're calling the king. I see this kid. He's my son or whatever. And, you know, he's got a lot of potential. So we'll go ahead and just make him the next chosen one. And I think that would be interesting because then he could be half human and half some other species. So, yes, but that parent didn't rule anything because they were wholesome helpers. Well, the chosen ones aren't supposed to be kings. The chosen ones are supposed to be by the side of the king and sort of help guide them. They're not the kings themselves. Does that make sense? The king that we know now took his powers and his authority. It's like wizards in shows. You know, there's always a king, but there's typically a wizard helper there who has magic and he's loyal to the king, and they're helping out, right? That's sort of what the chosen one is. He's like the right-hand man to the king, you know? So instead of just being the right-hand man, the king was like, I'm gonna be king. So, and the king didn't like how they didn't rule, which leads him to want to rule, and which is what he ends up doing. Okay, yeah. I think we're going somewhere with this, right? So one of his parents was a chosen one. Question is, I think it makes the most sense if the chosen one, which was either his father or his mother, they should be Ilarian. And I think the king should be Ilarian, which is why he chooses to do that. Because if he's human and he was born on Earth, Earth isn't going to be doing as much magic. We'll have to decide whether or not magic is actually going to be able to be performed on Earth at some point, like once they're linked together or whatever. But I think if he was born on Ilaria, that gives him an edge on magic, which is sort of why his parents were like, okay, let's actually elect him to be king because he's just naturally good at magic, you know? So I think it makes more sense for him to be Ilarian, but he can still have a human name since one of his parents was human. So it doesn't matter what his name is at this point. So, okay, cool. So let's decide whether his mother or father was Ilarian. Or I guess we should just decide which one was the chosen one. Was his mother or father the chosen one? And the chosen one's going to be Ilarian. The other one's going to be human. Okay. Exactly what I mentioned. So he has a reason to want power. I want to be a right hand. I want to be the whole body. Yeah. There isn't any better stop scrolling down, chat. There isn't any better person to take up the role of the chosen one. So my son, I choose you to be the next chosen one. Exactly. Yeah. Long may King Aiden reign. Okay. I'm the king. So maybe a child turned human? What? I don't know. Should he have a sad story and went evil, or he was just evil from birth? Sad stories typically lead to wanting revenge, but that's not really what his goal is. His master goal doesn't have anything to do with revenge, it's just keeping his kingdom alive. And the reason why he wants to have the kingdom is because his parents weren't rulers. And I think the way that this works, or the way that this could work well, is that, you know, the chosen ones were ruling for the current king, right? And they were, I don't know, let's just say, for example, the king's mother was the chosen one. She was Ilarian, so she was right next to the king constantly. But the way that the current king treated the new king's mother, it could have been very poor, which could have made the king that we know now, it could have just made him mad. So then he was like, okay, you know what? We can't have scumbags like this as the king. We need somebody who actually wants to rule and wants to have a good grasp and, you know, is a good fit to be the king. So then, like, it's not necessarily a sad story, it's just his parents weren't treated very well. So he was like, he got mad over that. So it's not like his parents died or anything. It's just, I mean, they could too. We could turn it that route. But it's just, you know, that's how it is. You can come up with limitless sad stories for his mom. Jeez. And if his father was an abusive human, I don't think his father should be, I think he should have a good family life. It's just the current king Because I think the conflict, it shouldn't be anything too vengeful. It's just a want to become the new king. And that's what the current king does. He really wants to be the new king, so he's going to work towards it and eventually overthrow the king. Okay. If he was a dwarf, people would be like, a dwarf cannot be the king, but he wanted to prove that everybody can be a great king, even as a dwarf. That could work. The thing is, though, right? If one parent was from Earth, one parent was from Ilaria, he would be half human. So we could always turn it to where the human genes just sort of kicked over and he looks completely human, which would sort of help the fact that he's more like a god, because nobody, like, he's an elf but without long ears. So he's basically like a big dwarf. But he's not like, it's not like you scaled the dwarf up, it's just like a tall dwarf. It's like a mix between an elf and a dwarf, which I suppose could happen, but maybe it's just never happened like this before. So it's like, who is this guy? Okay. It's not revenge, it's protecting. Love, Ilaria. Earth should stay away from my perfect world. Actually, maybe that would work, actually. The Earth showed him the only dark side, so he wanted to save Ilaria from Earth's cruelty. That's actually really good. Okay, thinking about it now that you said that, that's a way for the king to sort of want to separate from Earth, because, I don't know, maybe humans aren't so interested in protecting everybody, and they're just more like selfish creatures. That's good. Okay, good. Good. So Aiden is a yes or a no naming a king. Oh, you want to name the king Aiden? Why would you name the king Aiden? I don't know. What if you named it... What if the king's name was E-D-I-N? Or... Eden? Is that... There was this old iOS game. Well, it may have been on Android too. It was something like Eden, and it was a ripoff of Minecraft. But it was different. It was interesting. Huh? I just didn't see it, okay? I didn't see it. If you repost it, I'll read it, okay? There's a lot of chats coming in, and I have to scroll up, and then it, like, scrolls down automatically sometimes, and it's like... Nadia? Okay. I know Nadia is my name backwards, but the king is not a female. That's a female name. Ethan? Ethan the king? That could work. You guys don't like Eden? Doesn't Eden... What is Eden? I felt like... No, maybe I must be thinking about something else. Is it Eden game? E-D-E-N. Yeah, that's what it was. Let me see if I can pull up some images. Oh, this brings back memories. That's funny. Alright, here it is. Check this out. This was Eden right here. Oh, I guess you can't see it very well. Actually, I can go like this. Boom. Okay. This was Eden. Right here. See? See how it's basically Minecraft? There were these monsters. And you could, like, build with slopes and stuff. It was weird. Yeah. Okay, so this is a classic example of, like a slope slide thing that you could slide down. Man, that brings back memories. Looks like there was, like, this was not it. This was a different one, I guess. Yeah, this is what it looked like. So. Oh yeah, and the fires were interesting. Okay, anyway, that's enough about Eden for now. Nadia is the reverse of your name, and the king is opposite of you. How is the king opposite of me? I am the king. So yeah, I don't know. What do we want the king's name to be? Isn't there a Barbie movie where she's called... Yeah, I don't know. Garden of Eden. Yeah, I thought it was something different, but I don't know. He has a harem of many women. Well, the thing is, though, the king would be against that, right? Because that's sort of what he saw from the human, so he'd be against that. Don't you think? Don't you think? Is it supposed to be an Ilarian name or an Earth name? It could honestly be whatever, because he's half Ilarian, half Earthling. So it could... Although... Here's the thing. If he had an Earth name, he probably would not like it, because he was against his father, who was human. So... We need to figure out where he is from before deciding on his name. Okay. The king was born and raised on Ilaria. I think he should just have an Ilarian name. Okay, I think he should have a name that's not common as a human name. You know, like a fantasy style name. Because first of all, he wouldn't like a human name because he doesn't like his father. So he would just choose to change it anyway. Okay, what was this poll? Let's see here. What should the king's name be? Oh, well, okay. There's a lot of, like, names that are shifted from mine. So I don't know. Do we want to do that one? Aiden is... I think we should stick to more Ilarian names. And you can't, like, the king... Well, I guess technically the king could be a female, but when you think of a big evil king, you sort of think of male. So that's sort of what we've been going for. But remember the time gap. You will end up with an Egyptian person or Roman, or even further time in the Greek province. That's true. Okay, here's the thing. I feel like we do need to change that up a little bit. So the way that we have it right now, it's like thousands of years. He's been ruler on Ilaria for thousands of years, right? So I'm thinking... I feel like either one, we need to make time flow faster on Ilaria. So like, 1 day on Earth is like 2 days on Ilaria, which could be interesting. It would be kind of hard to keep track of, but it would be interesting. The other thing is we just need to like rewrite, like we'll have to take Earth's history and extend it. So like there would be a certain time period that it was stuck in for like thousands of years, and then it finally continued on time. So we could actually explain like how it's not just like cavemen, you know? So we do need to talk about that, because as it stands right now, it doesn't make sense for, like, Ilaria, you could say, like, oh, he's been ruler for thousands of years, and they've had kings before that, too. And that's fine. But on Earth, it's like, well, if you go back too far, it's like, humans weren't really a thing yet, so... We should probably just choose a name, shouldn't we? Melvor? Melvor. What do you guys think of Melvor? King Melvor. Melvor. What What about King Melvor? King Melvor. Grammarly's yelling at me. Ignore. Melvin? No, it's Melvor. Not Melvin. What? Really? You guys think it sounds too close to Melvin? Melvor? Well, the thing is, though, right? That could be a funny gag. Like, Nico could be like, Melvin? Like, when he hears it for the first time, he's like, no, Melvor. It's like, it sounds like Melvin. And then the king could be like, don't relate me to the humans. King Alvin and the Chipmunks? No, Alvin is not an Ilaria name. Mendax. Mendax. I like that. Does it mean liar in Romanian? What language does it mean liar in? I like Mendax. Kazaki... No, that... Latin, okay. Mendax. I like that, especially since we were going for... Wasn't there some... I don't know, this was like one of the first couple of streams when we were choosing names, and one... Something with Blake where it was like... I don't know, I can't remember. Papyrus, was it Papyrus where it was something with Blake? Not sure. Okay, I think... Does anybody have any, like, real anger towards the name Mendax? Because I think that sounds like an awesome name. Mendax. Mendax Nadia? You're not a fan of Mendax? Why not? Even if the king's name isn't Aiden, we can still call him that. I don't know, I like Mendax. Nadia is his mom's name? Yeah! Nadia can be his mom's name. It sounds like a cleaning product. Sorta. But here's the thing though, right? Really? You think it's weird? Why does everybody want Kazaki? Okay, fine. I liked Mendax because one, it starts with an M, and I feel like, I don't know, I'm feeling like an M name right now. Oh, that's right. Alright, let's go back here. Thanks for reminding me. Alright. Oh, we're spending so much time. We're already an hour down, and we've only not even answered the first question. Kazaki sounds Japanese, though, and that's human. Are we trying to sound more fantasy? Oh, V's? V's could work, too. Mendoris. Kodmari? What did Kodmari put? That means the king's mom is named after... Yup. Villari? Or... Danai? Danai? Use admin? No, we're not. Vex? V is evil, yeah. Like, Vector. Okay, obviously people don't like Mendax, so we're not doing that. I liked Mendax. What about... where was it? It was... Villari. Wait. I spelled that wrong. How do you spell it? Where was it? V-I-L... Villari. Right? Ignore. Villari, the villain. King No, okay, we're not doing the Tangled Varian guy. Clorox? No. That's a grandma name from my country. But we write it Valerie. So is it pronounced Valerie? Valerie. This one's pronounced Villari, I think. What, Villari sounds like a girl's name? No, we've already decided that the king's mom's name is gonna be Nadia. Maybe Odious? Did Mango put that? Is that what you... Where did they say that? Otis? Otis for what? Oh. I could be fine with Otis. Why does choosing the name always take the longest? Sounds like a cow's name. That's funny. Otis. Otis the cow. A Roman cow's name. That's funny. Quentin? Quentin is a human name, I feel like. Last time when we were deciding the king's name, it took forever and we came up with something that was bad. And there was also some other character's name that we named like Amethyst or something that was also bad, so. Hugo Olsen? Should we skip it and move on? Oh, we wanted Vincent for Callisto and changed it to the king. That's right. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Okay. So how do Ilarians refer to the king? I feel like we should just have them say like king. We also need to like speed round these because we got quite a lot of questions. But I mean, we sort of, in the beginning, we talked a lot about sort of what we wanted. So I feel like some of these should come easy. I feel like we should just say king. Just king, you know. Hey, king. My lord. Stuff like that. Plus, that's not, like, super important right now. How is the king seen in the eyes of Ilarians? Do different types of people see him differently? So I feel like the people on Ilaria should see him as, like, a god. Yeah. He's more of a god, and people... It's like, he's been around for so long that when people are born, they're just like, they don't even question his rule, I don't think. Because it's just like, well, he's been the king for thousands of years. It's like, you're not gonna change that. So, yeah, I think everybody probably sees him the same, because everybody on Ilaria is, I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of different species, but it's not like, I don't think there should be species discrimination, because the king set up a system in a way to where it's just like, well, everybody lives in the same towns. It's not like it's divided. It's been the same for thousands of years. So there's been a lot of time for the, like the speciesism to go away. So, God, okay. Are there people who want to overthrow the king? Is there like some sort of secret organization that sort of is like, we don't like the king? Although I don't think there should be really, because, I mean, I guess technically the monsters want to overthrow the king. Rebels? Like, why, like, what reason do those rebels have for protesting against the king? Or maybe they're people who know of the dangers that the king's putting Ilaria in by using too much magic. Okay, once and for all, are monsters sentient? And should I feel empathy or mindless and they're just monsters? I'm thinking the monsters are just monsters. It's never going to be like, oh, the king is kicking them out and, oh, we're going to join up with the monsters. It's like, monsters attack humans because they eat them, right? And the humans, or I guess the Ilarians, attack the monsters because if they don't attack and take them out, then the monsters are just going to attack them and eat them. So I think that's sort of the idea. We need an enemy for Ilaria, because otherwise there's no point in having knights. So yeah. People on the Monster Islands don't like the king. They aren't good people, but they see the corruption in the king. Well, they are the knights, and they're loyal to the king, though, right? If I would be a monster, I would not eat a human. Well, it's like lions. The monsters are like animals. They're like wild animals. They have enough of a mind to think for themselves, but it's not like they're as evolved as humans to where it's like, okay, we can make peace. The monsters are always going to try to attack the Ilarians. So yeah. The Whisperers are planning to overthrow the king since they know the truth? No, I don't think that... I feel like the Whisperers know the king's power, so they don't even try to bat an eye. But aren't there people like demons and goblins on the Monster Islands? Aren't they still intelligent? That's true. Okay, we did talk about sort of there being like a master race on there. And that was like sort of the demon people with like cool wings and stuff. So I think they can be like the head species of the monsters. And so they have intelligence up to the same level as most Ilarians. But they command the lower monsters who aren't capable of that level of intelligence. So they command them, but they absolutely hate the Ilarians. So it's like the Ilarians and monsters are clashed. It's not like the viewers are going to feel empathy for the monsters. The monsters are monsters, and it's like, okay, they are the clear enemies of Ilaria. It's not like they're the true final villain that we're going to be defeating. It's just they are there to make Ilaria's world better and more interesting. Some exiled people on monster islands, always in danger, who see what the king does to the people who disobey. Maybe the monsters influence the magic in a dark way. Well, some monsters can do magic. I feel like we were talking about that, but it's not like the way that they do magic isn't really like they're taught. They just sort of learn on their own, and it's like their magic is very broken. So it's like they are rediscovering magic for the first time. And the demons can obviously do good magic, but not everybody, not all of the monsters are going to get that. Not all the monsters are super close to the demons, so like they're never really going to truly learn, but they are all capable of it. It's just they have to relearn themselves from the start. So yeah, then wouldn't the monsters be against the king? Well, yes, the monsters would be against the king, but the monsters have always been against the king. I'm talking, this question is more for the people in Ilaria. Why are the demons bad? That's just the way this story goes. That's the only, like, yeah, it's, you gotta choose some speed, like, I guess technically you could have conflict between Ilarians and Ilarians, but, like, this story just needs a villain to go against, so that's why, I mean, like, yeah, maybe we don't like stereotyping against demons, but like 7 Deadly Sins, they're going up against demons. It's a very common enemy, so, but exiled Ilarians would work. They could reunite once the king must be taken down. I suppose that could work too, but why is the king exiling people? If everybody is pretty much being like, okay, this guy's a god, we don't disobey him. Like, it would be super rare to find somebody who was against the king and be thrown out. I don't think there should be people directly in Ilaria who are like good members of society, unless if it was like the peace movement and it was like, we need to make change because we're using too much magic in our society. Like, that's the only real thing that I would think we could put here. But even then, those people aren't really saying we need a new king. They're saying we just need to make change. No population is agreeing on everything. Things being 100 white and 100 bad are not very interesting to explore for my symbolism. There are always people who are skeptics. Even when religion was mandatory in some countries, there were still heretics that were killed. Yeah, okay. There will be some people, but the thing is, this society, like, when they were born, from the moment they were born, they are taught, like, that's the king. You don't go against the king because he basically allows us to live. That's what these people know. They don't know of anything else. They don't know how to be rulers because they were born thinking that you're never going to be a ruler. You are born to live as a citizen, and that it's just not going to change. So for humans like us, where it's like, well, we're not born that way. We're not born knowing there's going to be one person ruling over us our entire lives. Like, some people can disagree with what the king's doing on a certain topic, but it's not like, okay, we're going to overthrow him now, because it's just like, he's so powerful. Okay, fine. Fine. I'm just saying it's going to be hard because the moment the king hears about people going against him, they're just going to be gone. They're going to be poofed from existence. And the king, I don't even think the king would throw out Ilarians. He would just kill them. So, like, there wouldn't be any, like, if there was somebody who was going up against the king, he would just be dead. So it's not even like there's going to be a tribe of banished Ilarians. It's just like if you go against the king, you're going to die. So people just don't go against the king. So I don't know. Do we just want to say, like, there are, but they die? And, I mean, I guess that sort of ties into this question. What will the king do to punish citizens? Like, depending on the crime, he's either going to kill them or send them to jail. They do not. They know they are in danger, which is why they hide on the Monster Islands. The only way to get to the Monster Islands, though, is if you're a knight. And being a knight is very hard. Most people are not knights. Luna and Nico should end up teaming up with the monsters to take down the king in exchange for something like their own autonomous country, or autonomous country, after the king is dead. Once you change your belief and see the danger, you want to survive. The monsters solely exist, I suppose, because I do want an arc where Nico and Luna go off, like, to become trainee knights or whatever, and they go off to the Monster Islands, accompanying, like, a main knight. And there's an arc like that. I do want to see that. Whether or not they decide to team up with the demons there and try to take over, that sort of depends on the way we want to take the show. Because you can have a big war-like scene where it's like monsters coming and invading in a huge fleet. You could have it go that way. Or you could have it be, it's Luna, Nico, Blake, and Callisto going up against the king for a final battle. And it's like, it's not known, because if it's an all-out war, everybody's gonna hear about it. Whereas if it's just Nico and Luna and Blake and Callisto going in and infiltrating and being secretive into the king's office or palace or whatever, then it's like nobody's really gonna know until it has finally happened. So it just depends on how we want to take it, I guess. So, okay, look, I get that people don't like the stereotypes and how the demons shouldn't be all bad. But it's just like, who do you want to be against Ilaria? Like, if monsters aren't bad, then there's nobody who's bad. And you have to have a thing that Ilaria is going up against, because otherwise there's not really any need for knights. Knights aren't going to be a profession that most people go for. So the only other way I can see to make the demons look less bad, and if you wanted to turn it this way, then I suppose we would be involving the monsters. Because at first I was like, well, the monsters wouldn't really be a big part of the story. They would just have an arc and then it would be over with. But I suppose if you guys wanted the demons to be less bad, then what we would have to do is make them their own independent entity. And make them trying to fight for their survival. And make the king actively trying to go kill them instead of it being the monster's fault. It's more of the king's fault, which would in turn allow Luna and Nico to become buddy-buddy with the prince of the demons, and then they would go and form a raid on Ilaria. Make it something like, once in a while, something attacks under the name of, I don't know, the Night Glare. Knights come in to kill whatever that is, but in fact, those can be his these monsters. Well, I mean, it depends on what we want to do with... Yeah, the thing... It's just, do we want the monsters to play a bigger role in the show or not? If they're just getting a simple arc because it's like, we need Luna and Nico to go train their magic against real people and they can actually do full-on fights with monsters. That's sort of what the purpose of that arc would be, is to train them to get better with using magic so that way they can actually stand a chance against the king. So, oh, I hope this works. Oh, it looks like we're back. We back? That was so weird. Alright, I think we're back. Yay. OBS was just like, hey, we're gonna be mean and stop doing the stream. And I was like, oh, thanks, OBS. I really appreciate it. We were in the middle of a conversation, and now I don't remember what we were talking about. So we're back. Ignore that. So, I think we're all good. Hopefully. Hey, people are coming back. They must have got a notification saying, hey, the stream's back up. Or something. I don't know. Anyway, okay, what were we talking about? We were talking about something with the monsters and how they were, you know, we were trying to decide if Nico and Luna were going to team up with the monsters. Okay, we can extend the stream by like 5 minutes or whatever. That's fine. Yes, I'm back. I made it. Let's go back here. There we go. Oh, this is a tough question. I feel like at the very least we need to write down what we sort of talked about as far as the king. I mean, yeah, we can fill out some of this stuff. But let's try to, we can do that. We've got, what, like 40 minutes? We'll do a speed round. We'll do a quick 40-minute speed round, you know? Okay. Are the monsters evil and they want to eat the Ilarians, or does the king just want to get rid of them? The thing is, if the king really wanted to get rid of him, he could just, you know, sort of float over there because, you know, he's like super powerful, and he could just be like, alright, monsters, you're gonna die. And since he's so powerful, he could just make a giant black hole there, you know? So that's why I'm sort of like, I don't know. Although you never really see that in shows, because like technically the evil villain has enough power to do that, but he just is too stupid to do that. So like, I don't know. Yes, monsters evil, but some Ilarians are hidden on the monster islands. So basically, the monsters are the ones that are the issue. It's not like the king's just like, okay, go take over the monster islands. The king is like, okay, just leave us alone. But it's like, since they won't, the king has to send people out. Where instead, are some, like, how did the Ilarians get to the monster islands? Like, if they were against the king, for whatever reason, how did they get there? Because typically the only people allowed to go to the monster islands are the knights. Did they just sneak onto the boats or something? Wants to take over the world. Well, no, not exactly. Well, imagine them as some lions, but they need them for the environment, maybe. Maybe there's some benefit to keeping them alive. You just have to, like, keep them at bay, you know? You know who's a knight? Blake. Well, right. Yeah, but, like, you wanted people who are against the king. If somebody's against the king, they're not gonna want. I mean, I suppose there could be some people who are like becoming knights just to overthrow it or whatever, but like, it's a lot of effort to become a knight. So, I think the monster should try to possess people to go against the king. Maybe. Now it's about the king. He would help them to the island. Or maybe there's just like one or two knights that are like secretly against the king in some way. So they've organized sort of this thing to where if you are against the king as well, you come to this certain boat and then like we'll pack you in some boxes and just say it's luggage, and then they'll take them. Like, that's an easy way to explain it. So, does that work? Can I just say yes, but not that many? Does that work? Okay, fine. We'll leave it at that. Whatever. What will the king do to punish the citizens? Kill. Let's just leave it at that. Speedrun. What will the king do to reward the citizens? Throw a party. Just say party. Speedrun. Does the king have a family of any kind? Yes, but dead. Alright. I feel like we should elaborate more than that. A medal? That could work too. Yeah, okay, let's elaborate on this a little bit. Mother. Oh, is it two O's in that? Is it? No, that I don't know. Grammarly is not always perfect. Past chosen one. Ilarian. What species is she actually? What do you mean by party? Like a festival or parade or something? I don't know. What if Blake is secretly the king's son? Dun dun dun. No, we don't need that kind of plot twist. Elf or demon? Really? No, demons the bad monsters, though. Are we just making the mom an elf? And then, I mean, I guess elves have the stereotype of being better at magic, but since everybody can do magic, that shouldn't really be a thing, I don't think. But, no, I don't think the king should be a demon, because then it's like... Or... all of Ilarians sort of are like, man, the monsters on the monster island are no good. So if they found out that the king was actually a monster, then that could actually be interesting. However, why would he be choosing to... I suppose... What if we made it like this? Most demons aren't good. Most demons are fairly bad, you know? However, there are a couple who are just like, let's just integrate into, like, a full-blown society, you know? Like, why can't we just join the Ilarians? And the king's mother was one of those demons, but the Ilarians were like, nah, we don't like the demons because they've caused us so much pain and whatever. So then they're like, against demons. So then the mother's like, has to pretend to not be a demon. Although if they have like cool wings, I don't know exactly how that would work. I suppose they would just have to claim that they were dragons that sort of look like demons. But especially since nobody's really seen what a demon actually looks like, only like some knights, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. So I suppose that could actually be an interesting plot twist if he was actually a demon. And if he had wings, like if he just had a robe or like a cape, that would work. That would sort of hide his wings, but then it would be super cool just to see him like starting to fly. That is why the human accepted having a demon lover. And she failed for this human because he didn't judge, and then he gave birth to the king of... Huh? Wait, why did the human accept having a demon lover? The thing is, though, right? Wasn't the king's father abusive? How about demons have to eat other Ilarians like elves, like ghouls from Tokyo Ghoul? And since demons on a large scale wouldn't be bad, the king, or would be really bad, the king has the resources to murder and eat anyone. Okay, that could be interesting as well. So then the mother was just like, okay, sure, I gotta eat humans, but like, I'll do it, I'll eat the dead humans. You don't know what's good or bad, and you could be abusive to the child and not the wife. No, I think the father either needs to be fully abusive or not abusive at all. Because if the king sees that the father is abusive to him, but not to his mother, then he's not going to develop the hate towards the humans, because it shows that the father just doesn't like the king, but he likes the mom just fine. It's like, okay, well, that means that humans are the same way we are. We like some people, we don't like others. Nothing really weird about that. It's not like there's no reason to hate the whole species. But if you see this human who's just abusive towards everybody and hits everybody and whatever, that's like, wow, that really paints a bigger picture than just not liking one person. So I think what should have happened was the human knew that the wife was the chosen one for Ilaria, so then he just used that position to, get close to the Ilarian king and, get rich and famous and whatever. So then, time passes and eventually he's found out that he doesn't actually love anybody. He's just there for, the ride, I guess. So then the mother eats him. That could be interesting. that work? That sounds questionable. You don't like that? No? Father. Human. Abusive. I ate my husband. Well, yeah, but like... if she's a demon, then she sort of has to, right? Father had 2 lovers, the chosen one and a monster. No, the chosen one is the monster. That's what we're sort of proposing here. Okay, do we want the mother to be a demon or not? That's the question we need to be asking, because it could be interesting, and it would also provide an insight as to why the king does not fully want to kill the monsters, because he knows, like, well, they sort of have some of my blood. But since I'm also part human, maybe the king doesn't need to eat humans because he's a half-breed. You know, he may have wings like a demon, but his human side makes him not need to eat humans. Why can't it be the other way around? Why can't what be the other way around? I feel like the mom I feel like the mom should be some sort of more humanoid creature, because like then that brings into question like which species can actually breed with each other, because like yeah, if the mom was a nymph and the father was a human, then she could love the man, but the man would believe she uses magic on him, which is why he kept beating her and hated the kid. I just think the man should have just wanted to be along for the ride. Like, wow, my wife's the chosen one. I'm going to be set forever. You know? And then when it's like, eventually their relationship worsened, because it's like they were starting to talk about needing to choose another chosen one. And so the husband was like, oh, well, shoot, if we're not going to be the chosen ones anymore, or, well, I guess he's not the chosen one. He's just the husband of the chosen one. He's like, well, if you're losing your chosen one status, that means that I'm not going to be the husband of the chosen one, which means that I'm not going to be rich and whatever. So then he could get mad, and that's where everything can start to turn bad. Can Luna be the daughter of the king? What? Why does everybody like tropes like that? No. I don't think so. They had 2 sons. One died. I don't know. I think people are overcomplicating this. Like, this was like thousands of years in the past, guys. How about she's the... Does Luna have to be related to the king in some way? Like, Luna's a part dragon. Like, come on. I mean, I suppose if the king's dragon too, then it could work. But, like, I don't know. Okay, let's. What were we we were talking about whether or not the mother was a demon or not. That's what we were talking about. If we wanted the related to the main villain trope, then the number one whisperer could be the king's son or something. Does the king have a son, though? That's the question. I don't know. We can talk about that later. Or I suppose we can talk about that now. I don't know. Why not make the king entirely adopted? When the human joined in. So he can just stay on Ilaria. Well, I suppose that could be interesting. But is there a reason for him to be adopted? Like, if there's not really a reason for him to be adopted, like, him being adopted makes it sound like, oh, his brother, or his biological brother, his family tree is actually going to lead down to, like, Luna or something. Like, I don't think so. That's just sort of like where some of the viewers' minds go, or at least where mine goes. Like, because if he's adopted, it's like, well, why did the creators of the show make him adopted? There has to be a reason. Real parents got killed by humans. Okay, well, no, that sort of goes against the idea, like, humans aren't aggressive towards Ilarians in particular. It's just some humans are more abusive than others. Like, it's not like the human race is going up against Ilarians. I think can we just choose the species of the mother later? Like, is it... I mean, I suppose it'll change the king's species down the line, depending on what the mother's is. But, I mean, we can still make the king look human. You know? His parents were here. A human and Ilarian. Yep, we got that. And maybe they were not allowed to be together back then. Luna is half elf, half dragon. So if is half elf, that could work. Okay. Species unknown. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Okay, what type of magic does the king have? So what was his born type of magic? We could do it like he's the space magic guy, or we could just not. Well, okay, here's the thing. This is sort of a misleading question. The king technically has all of the magic because the lost souls have magic of all kinds. But we're talking, this question is asking, what magic was the king born with? Because he did not have access to all the souls from the very beginning. It was only when he became the chosen one. Okay, well, literally the only one I've seen is space so far, so... Oh, there's an air and an earth. How about he has magic that nobody else has, like shadow magic? Well, then that brings into question, why does he have magic that nobody else has? So, I want to keep the magic more hard. You know, I don't want it to be like, oh, this person has some rare magic and this person has some rare magic. If we're making a bunch of different rare magics, then that's one thing. But if we're keeping the 5 elements, and that's what we're keeping it as, the king needs to have one of those elements. Of course, the king is going to have all of them in the end, because that's sort of what the lost souls are for. But the way we have it right now, I think we should pick between water, earth, fire, air, or space. And I think earth is funny because it's like, wow, he hates earth. Or, well, I don't know if he necessarily hates earth. He just doesn't like humans because he had bad experience with them. Maybe he robbed the population of shadow magic? Yeah. Okay, so it's between, I think, space and earth. Okay, the chosen one will gain more magic abilities. Like, they get the notebook that it's a magic notebook. They get the lost souls. They get to, like, ask the lost souls for help, so they end up being able to do all kinds of magic. Like, guys, it doesn't really matter what magic he was born with. He will be able to do space. Let's just make it earth. I'm making it earth for now. What species is the king? Human/unknown. How does the king view certain species? How does the king? I would feel like it would probably be neutral, because, like, okay, think about it like this, right? He's half human and he doesn't like the humans, and his mother can be a half-breed or a single breed or whatever. It doesn't really matter, but he's like, okay, well, I'm against the humans. If you're Ilarian, I don't care. So I feel like he should probably be impartial. He hates humans. That is it. Let's just leave it at that for now, because we are running out of time. 15 minutes. Okay, so this is sort of what we talked about at the beginning. What does he want? This should get in the way of his need. He wants to find a successor, right? His need should be to get over the fact that he's not gonna choose a good, like, there's not gonna be somebody just like him, right? He needs to realize that he just needs to pass on. He just needs to die. That's what he needs. He just needs to die. He wants to die, but at the same time, he's like, well, I can't die until I have... Mr. Fruit's really good at answering these questions. Can you help us out? He wants perfection. He needs to accept that perfection does not exist. That's a really good way to put it as well. Although it's pretty vague, so I feel like we need to, while it works really well, we also need to elaborate on that to make it fit more, just so that we have a better idea. Okay. Yeah, okay. He wants perfection. He needs perfection does not exist. I'm gonna push this down. He wants perfection. He wants his world to... What? He wants his world to be perfect and have the perfect not going to find like himself. Move on. Alternate answer. He wants revenge against the humans. Okay, if he wants revenge against the humans, there's a difference between wanting revenge and wanting distance, and not wanting to have anything to do with you. Which I believe what we want is that the king does not like humans, so he wants to stay away. That's different from him wanting revenge on humans and wants to kill them all. I think he just wants to stay away. Protect the Ilarians versus sending them out to go kill humans. Okay. What is his goal? His goal is to choose a new successor, right? Choose the next chosen ones. Right? That's not true. Humans did do something. His father was abusive to himself and the mother. Find a successor worthy enough. And sharing his views. Okay, I'm just going to copy that whole thing because that was good. So we'll do that. Okay. Was he different before he became the chosen one? Honestly, I don't think so. His goal has always been to protect. I guess his goal is also to Ilarians because protect Ilarians / separate from humans. Did I spell that right? Since his father, his human father, was abusive, it's like, okay, well, I just don't want anything to do with humans. So, what? Lemonade for Aiden? What does that mean? What? Oh, because Aiden's meaning the king or something? What? Okay, I don't know. But speaking of lemonade, I'll drink my water. Yummy water. Was he different before he became the chosen one? I don't really think so. I think he had the same view set. Like, he never really changed. He's always wanted the best for Ilaria. Even if his image on that is a little bit twisted, because he's like, well, this is what Ilarians need, but maybe it's not what Ilarians actually need. It's what he thinks Ilarians need. He thinks that he's doing good, and I mean, I guess he's not truly evil because he's not like putting them into slavery and stuff. So he's not like a terrible king. It's just what he's doing isn't right. They need a new king. So not really. How did the king first get into power? Well, he was his mom. Chosen one. They decided to make him the chosen one. So after that, use the info. The new king. Alright, does that look good? In power as a king, chosen ones are not kings. Well, yeah. The chosen ones are supposed to be sidekicks to the king. basically what happened is his mother was like, okay, time for you to become the next chosen one. And he was like, all right, cool. So then he always had this hatred against the current king because he didn't treat his mother well. And he didn't treat himself well either. So when the king that we know became the chosen one and worked for / with the current king, confusing, I know. It was just like, he used the knowledge that he gained there to sort of be like, okay, I can overthrow you now. I know what the people want. I've been working with you long enough. I know your secrets. And then just expose him, take over the king, and then boom. He's now the new king. Okay, what makes the king a villain that needs to be defeated? Ilaria and Earth need to connect, and he's preventing that from happening. Plus, he's killing people, so like, you know. Yeah, Ilarians closed the gates, and the king was seen as a hero. Yeah, that could work. The time the king was pro-humans, and he made many things. And then humans got mad. Light killed the king, blamed the humans, had a war with humans, and split the world. Yeah. I think maybe instead of having a war, they just decided to split up. But in any case, he got the side of the public and became the new king. Okay. He is preventing Earth and from becoming one again. You gonna tell me to add a comma? Yeah. Okay, no sacrifices, guys. We're not having sacrifices. Does he or does he not? Oh, I suppose we should answer this. He does not want a war. Humans. He just wants to wait. Okay. Does he or does he not have lizard people? Okay. No. It just doesn't make sense. No. No lizard people on Earth. You know? That's how it is. Okay. No, it doesn't. He doesn't even like humans. He's gonna stay away. It just doesn't make sense for the story. Like, if he was trying to take over Earth, then maybe, but like, he's not. He's like, get away from me, humans. You're disgusting. Okay, I still think magic, once the two worlds combine and there's two chosen ones, I feel like magic should be open. Because the two chosen ones, they have extra power, right? And one of their powers is probably to create a everlasting gate that allows people to go between the two places. Like, that's one of their special powers. And I think when that happens, there should be a link or like a switch that's turned on to where it's like, okay, Earth can use magic too. You know? Something like that. I don't know. Okay. There can be lizard cats, okay? But not on Earth. They could be on Ilaria or something. I don't know. I got here to help write a tragic love story. Well, wait, tragic love story. Are you talking about between Blake and Callisto? Yeah, okay. I suppose there are going to be two different kinds of people. There's going to be people who focus more on Blake and Callisto, and there's going to be people who focus more on Luna and Nico. No magic on Earth, never magic on Earth. I still think, like, it's only when they're connected, so it would only be, like, at the very end where there would be magic on Earth, but, because, like, if humans bring technology over to Ilaria, it's like, what does Earth get in return? Like, magic can actually help Earth's environment. Like, they can use it to plant more trees and do stuff like that. So it's like they're evening out the playing field. Bringing technology to Ilaria, bringing magic to Earth. It's like even, you know? Okay. Somehow we managed to complete the whole thing in a speed run. We spent like 10 hours on this top part, but we got through it eventually. Okay, next week is... You're all about Adam and Durelium? Yeah. Or shoot. Durellum. Durellum. I always pronounce Durelium. Durellum weird. What else do you want then? Trades more food, materials, more nice people, culture, and books. Well, they can exchange both of those things. Those are things that exist on both Earth and Ilaria. Magic is exclusive to Ilaria, and technology is exclusive to Earth. They're trading their exclusives. You know? Like, if I have the super rare Pokemon card, which is a reference to Miraculous Monday coming up tomorrow, if I have the super rare Pokemon card, right? It's like, I'll trade you the super rare Pokemon card and a couple of my extra cards, you know, like with Squirtle or whatever. And so, from you, I'm going to expect a super rare Pokemon card too. It's not like, here, you can have my super rare Pokemon card, and in return, I'm just going to get, you know, like a Snivy and a Pikachu. Like, nah, I want a super rare Pokemon card. Even trades. I like even stuff. I like it when it's fair. So, yeah. Alright. Well, that's it for the stream. Sorry for the technical issues halfway through. Don't know why that happened. OBS was just like, you know what? Let's be mean today. Huh? No, don't bite me. I don't want to be bitten. That's not nice. Okay. We are going to end this stream. Oh, next week, we're doing the recap. The recap stream. So, now, that would actually be a very good stream to attend if you don't know anything about Page Turner. Because, yeah. Did you guys end up resolving the disagreement about the magic system in the Discord? Okay, Mr. Fruit made an announcement about that like a week ago or whatever. But we decided just to go with the 5-element magic system that we sort of already had written out. Give me the Pikachu card. I don't actually have the Pikachu card. I was just using that as an example. Next stream, we're doing a recap stream. So we're going to be reviewing everything again. Because with all this information, it's really hard to keep track of what is current and what is new. And I feel like what we should do is create a ginormous Word document that just recaps everything. We can go stream by stream and recap and sort of write, and it'll be big. I feel like that's what we need to do, so we will work on that over the next week. Okay, well, I'm going to end the stream now. It was 6 minutes later than usual to compensate for the weird stream glitch stuff. Again, I apologize for that. OBS, come on, man. What are you doing? All the official stuff that's confirmed? Yes. Yes, that's what the recap stream is going to do. It's going to be like, hey, here's what we know about Blake. Here's what we know about magic. Here's what we know about backstory stuff. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for joining me again this week. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, see ya.